Who was your favorite host to work with?
Well, I think we liked the hosts who were pretty much, easygoing and willing to do whatever we asked them. Like Buck Henry obviously got asked back a lot of times. And Michael Palin from the Monty Python troupe was very amenable to asking to do, what I remember he had this thing where he put cats in his pants, live cats. And then he had to go in the monologue, and then he had to go directly from that to a sketch in the confessional where he was playing a priest, and, he wasn't visible. So you didn't, he just had his priest collar or whatever, but he was still wearing the cat pants, and the cats had pooped in his pants. So it was pretty bad for the person who was playing opposite him.
It's crazy.
But, would be people like that would put up with that kind of literal shit. That would be the kind of host that you would say, oh yeah, well, that's great because you could relax. Whereas I think that the female hosts were usually the most difficult and the most demanding.
Really?
Well, I think because usually by the time they had gotten to be well known enough to host, they had been put through a lot of crap in Hollywood. And so they really had more of an attitude in terms of what they had to put up with, so they became more diva-ish. But then there were some female hosts were great. Like, I remember Maureen Stapleton was really wonderful and was willing to kind of do whatever you wanted her to do. And Sissy Spacek was a really easy host to have. Different people like that, but sometimes you would run into somebody. Cicely Tyson was very difficult.
There were 2 female writers when you were on SNL,
3
right?
Originally.
3.
There was me, Rosie Schuster, and Marilyn Suzanne Miller. And Rosie and I sort of gravitated toward each other and wrote a lot of stuff together. And Marilyn left after, I think, a year and a half. And then later on, there was a woman writer named Sarah Paley who came on board in like the 4th and 5th year, I think. And it was funny because when Sarah Palin was running for vice president, I was like, wait, what? Sarah Paley is running for vice president? And I realized, no. Well, it wasn't as far-fetched because she did marry a politician who retired and became president of the New School. So she had married a senator, an ex-senator. So it wasn't so crazy to think that it was Sarah Paley, but it was still not Sarah Paley, obviously.